Good morning, everyone. Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Martha Eleftheriou. She is a life coach, a Reiki master, and a yoga teacher. How are you doing this morning, Martha?
Hi, Brad. I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks. How's your morning going so far?
It's going. It's a little dreary, but it's going well. I'm excited to be having this conversation with you for this podcast.
Excellent. Me as well. How was your evening?
It was good. It was good. We did a Disney sing-along with my kids. They did it.
Awesome. So you are a certified school teacher, a wife, a mama, a women's empowerment and spiritual coach, a Reiki master, a yoga teacher. That's quite the resume you have. Are you actively doing all of these things right now?
No, I'm not actively teaching anymore in
the
school board. I was for many years, almost 15 years. So that was my previous career.
Yeah.
So now I have my own business of life coaching, Reiki healing, and yoga. And so I believe my experience as a teacher, I've taken the lessons with me into what I'm doing now, and also, I guess, teaching and leading in a different way.
Where do you find the time for all three of these things? I mean, each one, I'm sure, takes up a fair bit of time.
When things are normal,
yeah.
when I have a schedule,
yeah.
It's everything is fit into my schedule. So I'm teaching 2-3 yoga classes a week. I know when the times are. Then during the days, I work with clients one-on-one and or Reiki sessions one-on-one. So everything does fit, when we have more of a routine, put it that way.
Yeah. So you're also a writer and a motivational speaker, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, your writing and the motivational speaking?
Well, I'll start with writing. Writing has always been a passion of mine. It's been an outlet for me to express my feelings and get the thoughts out of my mind onto a page. So whether I'm writing on my blog, I do have a blog on my website that I write in quite regularly, or more creative writing, which I don't do as much anymore as I used to.
Right.
I just love writing, and I feel like it's been a part of me since I was very young. And writing is something that I wish I had a little bit more time to do. Now that I have younger children, I don't. But it's been a part of me and will always be a part of me. So writing is something that I truly love to do. And motivational speaking to me is similar to writing, because if I'm asked to speak about a topic, I do prepare what I'm going to be saying. I write out a speech. I write out a talk.
Right.
And I've done that actually while in social isolation. I volunteered for 2 organizations to speak. These were supposed to be physical in-person launches, but because of the circumstances that we're all in, they've taken them online. And so now the speakers have to basically record their talks and send them in. And so I've done that for one already, and the next one's coming up in 2 weeks, and they're both for not-for-profit organizations. So It's exciting, it's fun, and for me, it's just an extension of who I am and what I like to do, what I like to share of myself.
What does a women's empowerment coach do? Can you explain to us a bit about what you do?
So a women's empowerment coach, it's a life coach. So I am a life coach.
Okay.
But the empowerment piece focuses on helping women redesign or recreate their lives, if you will, in the way that they want it. For so many of us, including myself, we kind of just, we grew up and we bobbled along and thought that we need to, go to school, and then you get married and this is it. And this is all you should sort of strive for in your life. And these expectations of what our lives are supposed to be were not really ever chosen by us, by women.
Right.
And what I do with women is we kind of deconstruct, who are you really? How do you really want to be living your life? And where along the lines of your life and the journey of your life did you pick up on that this is the way that you need to live? So just excavating where these beliefs come from and if they work for your life or not. And for a lot of women, they realize, oh yeah, like, why did I think this?
Yeah.
Why did I feel like I have to grow up and marry Prince Charming in order to be successful? You know, beliefs like that we didn't really question as young girls.
Right.
And
It's
so
just, it was just bred in, right? But this is what you were told by your parents and this is what your mother did. So this is what you've got to do, kind of thing.
Exactly. And so in the coaching, we start to unpack that and examine that and be like, okay, well, is that what you really want? If it is, great, we'll work toward that. If not, let's co-create another life that you want, that works for you, that helps you feel empowered.
Have you found that most of your clients will say, hell no, that's not what I'm, after looking at it and examining it and realize, wait a minute, no, this is what my mom did, or this is what my grandmother did. This isn't for me. Have most of your clients kind of made that discovery?
It depends. It really depends on the person, on the situation, and their life, and so much of it is dependent. So I say some yes, and some no. But what remarkably shifts a lot is not so much their external lives; it's more their mindset about the lives that they're living.
Okay. Now, how did you get involved with women's empowerment? How did that all come about?
That kind of came about serendipitously, because when I was teaching in the public school system, I had a class. It was a pilot project, and it was a grade 8 all-girls class. And it was basically a chance to have all the girls together and empower the girls and see what were the issues that girls around 13, 14 were facing, and teach curriculum, but also teach empowerment. And that was the best year ever of my teaching career.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. I loved it. I loved the girls. The lessons, the experience that I had with them that year was something remarkable that stayed with me. And after that was over, and they did pull the project after that year.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that was a huge bummer when they pulled that. So after that was over, I realized this is what I really wanted to do, and not just with girls, although I still love working with girls and teenagers specifically, but also with women, with their mothers, because they have mothers, and where are girls kind of learning about these things, and who are they watching? It's their own mothers, and that's what really got me interested in working with women and being that the focus for my coaching.
How did the girls respond to that program? Like, how were they with learning about being empowered, and that there are no limitations to what they can do? And
they loved it. The class was just amazing. The girls had good relationships with each other. They were really comfortable in that setting to talk about the issues that they were facing, whether it was issues at home, body image, boys, depression, cutting, dieting, things like that. And these were all topics that they freely discussed with me in that class.
That's pretty incredible to get kids of that age to open up and feel comfortable talking about all that stuff. I think that's incredibly admirable. And I mean, obviously that was a stepping stone for you into what you're doing now, but it's too bad that the program got pulled, because I think our school system actually needs things like that. I mean, for young girls, and I think boys need that too, but just the overall program, I think, is an incredible idea. I just can't believe that the school pulled the program. That's horrible.
Yes, it was very disheartening for me as well. They also did have a boys program that ran a few years longer, so they were doing something similar with the boys in that school.
Oh, okay.
And I believe both programs were a success, but because of school resources and other logistics with things coming up, they decided to pull it and just focus more on curriculum. Straight up curriculum, I mean.
Yeah. I see you have a meetup group called Empowered Women Coffee Talk. Can you tell us a bit about that and what that's all about? Yes.
Empowered Women Coffee Talk is a free women's meetup that happens across the GTA across 5 branches.
Okay.
When we're in regular times, we meet in coffee shops or bakeries once a month, and there is a topic of discussion and questions, and it's the same topic across all 5 branches. So although I founded this meetup, I don't run all the 5 branches. I run the one branch in King City, but there are 4 other incredible branch ambassadors that run their own branches in different cities like Richmond Hill, Vaughan. We have one in London, Ontario, and Newmarket as well.
How did the idea for this come about?
It came about from coaching women and realizing that a lot of women feel a disconnect with other women. Whether it's been because of becoming moms and they're busy with their own young children, or because of careers or family life, not having the time to necessarily see their friends the way they used to connect with other women the way they used to. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if just for 1 hour, once a month, women can come and share and meet other women and have meaningful and purposeful discussion that will leave them feeling seen and heard. And that's how it came about.
I love that. How long have these been going on? How long has this group, this meetup been happening?
It's going to come up to 2 years this August.
Oh, congratulations. That's great. Now, how the reception's obviously been good because you've got 4 other chapters. So how are these other chapters established, and how do you decide, okay, I want this woman to lead this chapter, and how does that all happen?
So women who are interested in leading a chapter or a branch will reach out to me.
Okay.
And in all cases, I know the women either through being clients of mine or through friends of friends. So I do know them, but we do have a conversation about it. I also offer these women I call it a 1 hour, kind of like a coaching call to how to run them, how they work. And of course they are free to set them up in their own way, but there's just a few kind of guidelines and parameters that we go over.
Right.
So it's been really, really wonderful. And the best part about these coffee talks, they're free. So there's no membership, which makes them unique. A lot of other similar ones do have membership required.
Yeah.
So these are free. And the best part is that women meet other women. They start following each other on social media, and friendships are formed. Some women now have become very good friends through these meetups, or even business connections are formed from hiring one another, going for interviews, and so on. So it is about making personal connection first and foremost.
So there's a real sense of community created through these meetups.
Absolutely.
I love it. That's amazing. Now, is there plans to continue expanding different branches or chapters?
Absolutely. If anyone is interested in leading a branch in their area, in their city, I always let people know, just reach out to me and let's have a conversation for sure. I think this is needed, and the more it can expand and grow, the better for all of us.
Absolutely. Now, on the topic of women's empowerment and the word empowerment and the whole thing around, do you think that the media and we the people have kind of done damage to that whole women's empowerment movement by overusing it, or the term being used so much and watered down? Or do you think we've lost kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? The meaning of women's empowerment? Do you think that's kind of been lost in all the publicity and how it was so pushed through the media?
I'd say yes and no. It's interesting. There's a store, Justice, that my older daughter used to really like shopping at a few years ago. And I don't know if you've ever been in that store.
My kids used to love shopping there too. My girls love that place.
Yeah. So have you seen all the empowerment messages on all the clothing, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
On T-shirts, water bottles, pajamas, girls rule. And I remember thinking, wow, this is amazing. And I feel like I would have loved to have seen that stuff growing up.
Yeah.
Me as a little girl, that this wasn't part of our vernacular. We didn't have shirts like that. I didn't wear anything like that. There weren't stores that had all those empowering messages for girls. So the one aspect you can look at it is, it's been so watered down for commercial reasons. But the flip side to that is my daughters are growing up seeing this as this is normal. Like there's girls empowerment and women's empowerment everywhere in all the stores. And I would hope that that could lead to deeper conversations with our daughters.
Right. Well, I mean, it also helps too, of course, that you're their role model and they see what you're doing with women's empowerment and how you help young girls and all that stuff. So that also, of course, helps, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's definitely a conversation that, should be had with girls, no matter their age. Obviously, you alter it depending on age appropriateness, but how women have had to fight and still continue to fight for their rights. And they're still marginalized. During this whole COVID thing, women and students are at a disadvantage the most, more than men. And this is 2020.
I know. It's ridiculous. I've thought about this time and again. And I mean, I came from a corporate background and I still saw that women are not recognized in the corporate world as they should be. They still don't hold positions of significance as much as they should. I mean, the C-suite level is still usually a boys' club, an old boys' club, right? There's not as many women in the positions and this is 2020, as you said. This shouldn't be happening still.
Yes. And even equal work for equal pay is still something women are fighting for. And this has been on this feminist agenda for how many years? 50, 60 years now? And we're still fighting for even that.
It's mind-boggling that still happens. I'm in shock. I mean, I think that obviously we've started to make a shift. There's been a shift towards bettering that, but it's still nowhere near what it should be for the year 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad.
I agree.
So what does the word empowerment mean to you?
It means choosing to live your life on your terms, living your life in a way that is personally satisfying to you, being able to go to bed at night and say, yes, this is the life I want to live, and I'm proud of it.
I love it. Now, what do you do around the house with your girls to teach them about empowerment? I mean, I know they see what you do with women's empowerment, but what do you do to enforce that at home with them?
A few things that have come up with my girls. One of them actually is hugging or kissing family members.
Okay.
So, you as parents, a lot of parents, and I've said this too, give so-and-so a hug and kiss.
Yes.
When we're seeing our family. And I realized that should be up to them if they want to. Right. And so I said this to my girls. I said, for example, their grandparents who love them dearly. And I said to them, it's up to you if you want to hug and kiss your grandparents. It would mean a lot to them if you could express love to them in that way.
Right.
But ultimately, it's up to you. So if you don't feel like hugging or kissing them, you don't have to. And I've said that to them.
So putting that decision-making power in their own hands at a young age.
Yes, because that helps them to know that they have ownership over their bodies and no one else gets to tell them what they're going to do with their bodies.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. Speaking on women's empowerment, let's talk a little bit about body image and self-love. And I mean, I think you and I could agree that the media has been instrumental in kind of creating this beauty standard and how young girls and women are supposed to look and how they're supposed to feel. Do you think that the media has also, on the flip side of that, done damage to, again, the body positivity, the self-love movement with over-sensationalizing it and overuse and watering that down too?
I always think back to how the media was sort of when I was growing up and images of models. And I certainly felt like an ugly kid, an overweight kid. I was 10 years old and doing the 20-minute workout.
Oh, yeah. I remember that show.
Yeah, remember that?
Yes. It was filmed at the Sheraton Center downtown Toronto, I think. Somewhere around there anyway.
So in that respect, when I looked at magazines, I thought, wow, this is the ideal notion of beauty. And I, as a young girl and woman, wanted to aspire to be that.
Right.
Now I look at what my daughter's looking at, just say on Instagram or TikTok and things like that. And this is my older daughter who's 12. Mm. And what's interesting is there's a lot of makeup tutorials and just like computer graphics that could change anything and everything about the way a woman or a girl appears.
Right.
And so my daughter sees the before and the after.
Mm-hmm.
And she could see that the finished product is not realistic. It's been altered in so many ways.
Yeah.
And she's growing up in this environment where she can see that a lot of this is fake and is manipulated. Whereas I didn't know that. I didn't know about what they would do in magazines growing up. You know, that wasn't really, we didn't know that stuff back then as young girls. So my daughter sees that and knows that. However, I think, I don't know yet. I'm still raising girls. I do see that even my own daughter looks to the finished product as the ideal beauty, even though she knows that it's not real and she knows that it's fake. So we talk about it, and I say, this is all computer generated. It's all fake. It's all been cut and manipulated to create this, you know, perfect fake ideal.
Right.
But I could still see that she does admire those fake images, although she knows they're fake. So we're working through that.
Mm-hmm. It's a constant work in progress. I mean, you said that you growing up didn't have well, I mean, let's look at it this way. The kids today have a hell of a lot more access to the world than we did when we were growing up. So I think we just were fed what was going on and didn't question it. Whereas now kids can at least question it. And like you said, your daughter sees the before and the after, and she realizes that there's digital manipulation there and whatnot. So maybe they're at a little bit more of an advantage in terms of being able to question and having access to see things that we didn't have the ability to do so when we were growing up.
Yes.
Which is beneficial to them. But I still think that now, opposed to when we were growing up, that it's more in their faces, because obviously we didn't have the access to the media that the kids do today. So I think they're bombarded a hell of a lot more with images and sound bites, and you've got to look this way and you've got to look that way. Whereas I think when we were growing up, it was a little more subtle, I guess, for lack of a better term, for us.
Yes.
It's interesting to look at the difference.
Yes. Well, when we were growing up, we had to buy a magazine, a fashion magazine.
Yeah.
To look at those images. There was no going on technology or a phone to look at them, but you're absolutely right. They are bombarded. And I feel that is the negative flip side to all of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with all the hats you wear, do you think they kind of all tie in together for the whole women's empowerment movement, like the Reiki, the yoga, the well-being, the coaching?
I believe so. I would like to hope so.
Yeah.
Because it's really what it boils down to is that we each have the power and the ability to be our best selves, to learn to love ourselves, and to live our lives on our terms. What do you think is your unique skill set or superpower that's helped you become successful in the women's empowerment world? I'd say it's empathy. Empathy, okay. Empathy, because being a highly sensitive person, an empath, I can feel other people's experiences as if I've gone through them myself. And that is a blessing, but it can also be a curse at the same time. It's a double-edged sword, right? Exactly, because sometimes it gets very painful, especially when I first started. So I had to also learn that, I can't take it, to home with me. And I would many times or dream about students, what they were going through. Yeah. So I've learned to have a little bit more of a boundary, but I feel that's what makes me be able to connect with women and girls, because I could feel their feelings. I could feel their pain. I can feel their joy and their happiness. So it's easy for me to understand where they're coming from, even if I don't come from that similar background. Right. If you could go back and change anything about when you first started, would you change anything when you first started in the women's empowerment world? No, I wouldn't change anything. I feel like everything I went through, even with my first career as a teacher, has led me to where I am today. So I feel like everything was necessary. These were all part of the journey.
Do you miss teaching at all?
I do. I miss the girls.
Yeah.
I think about them, and now they're probably almost done university because it's been a few years now. So I do. I miss the personal connections with girls that age.
Right.
So that's what I miss the most. Yeah.
Now, to date, what would you say is your biggest high or your greatest win?
I'd say personally, it's becoming a mom and having 2 girls of my own.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because growing up, I always said I want 2 girls. I want 2 girls. And I got what I wanted. And it's been the biggest challenge as well. Raising 2 girls, they're very spirited, headstrong, independent girls. And of course, I would get girls like this.
Yeah.
Right? So it's been the most challenging experience of my life, but the most rewarding experience of my life.
Well, that's good. I mean, the independence and being headstrong, yet as a parent, that's tough to deal with because I went through the same thing with my 2 girls. One, of course, the younger one was a hell of a lot more headstrong and than the older one. But we always tried to teach them independence and that they don't need to depend on a man. First of all, never ever depend on a man for anything. You depend on yourself first and foremost.
Yeah.
And get yourself through things, and you support yourself. And I think that's a very, very valuable lesson to instill in our young girls, especially when they're young. You start that from a young age. That way it carries through and it gets ingrained into them. So that was always important for us, is to teach them to be independent.
Absolutely.
Let's go down a not so serious road and kind of off topic a little bit. What sound or noise do you absolutely love?
Ocean waves.
What would you say is one of your favorite words?
This is a hard one because I love so many words.
Okay, give me 3.
Okay. I love serendipitous. I love the sound of it. I love the meaning of it. I love epiphany.
Okay.
And love.
Love. Mm-hmm. What would you say is your favorite curse word?
It's got to be fuck.
The emphasis there. I love it. If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
Time travel.
Time travel. Why time travel?
There's a historian in me. I don't think we talked about this, but in university, I took history. And I actually have a master's degree in history. And that's another passion of mine. I would love to go back to just be a fly on the wall in pivotal moments in history to see how did it actually happen,
Yeah.
What was being said. And I just to see how times were different. I would love to be able to time travel back, not forward. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it is actually. It is. But it would be very interesting to be able to go back and live in those times, different times and different time periods, and just to see how things were. Yeah, and experience them firsthand.
Yes, yeah.
What's something you're not very good at?
Multitasking. I think I am, but I'm not, because I end up getting very stressed and overwhelmed. So I like to think I'm good at it because I do it, but the emotional effects are not pleasant. So
the stress of it.
Exactly. That's why I'm not good at it.
What was a turning point in your life, and how did it affect you?
A big turning point in my life has to do with my spirituality and my perception of myself as a spiritual being. And that happened in a yoga nidra class. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but a yoga nidra is basically a yoga of deep sleep where you're laying down.
Okay.
In the class. And the instructor is leading you through this kind of guided, very deep relaxation process. And you're not supposed to fall asleep. Some people do fall asleep. But what happens when you go through this experience, there's a lot of benefits for people. But what happened to me in my first yoga nidra experience is I had this aha, like the skies opened and I call it like a spiritual awakening. And I felt in every fiber of my being that there was more to myself than a physical body. I felt like, wow, I am a spiritual being having this physical experience. And after that class, it's remarkable. I was never the same after that, in a good way.
Yeah.
I felt very empowered as well, spiritually, from that turning point in my life, because it was different than anything else I had been taught about God or spirituality. And so that was kind of me understanding it for myself and realizing that, wow, I'm an extension of the divine. I have access to the divine myself.
Right.
And that was a huge pivotal moment for me.
Very interesting. Now, do you continue to go for these sessions?
I haven't gone for a while, but I also with Reiki, because Reiki is a energy healing modality. This is a topic that when I teach the Reiki courses, we discuss a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of your favorite quotes?
The quote that I used for many years while I was teaching that I still love is, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's by Maya Angelou.
I love that. Maya Angelou has a ton of amazing quotes.
Another favorite of mine that's also from Maya Angelou is when you know better, you do better. And I use that almost every day for myself and my life.
And put that into practice in your life. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any big projects that you're currently working on or coming down the pipe that you'd like to share with the audience?
I have an online course that I just launched about 4 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it was my signature one-to-one coaching program, but I rejigged it and was able to get it online. And ironically, because of this COVID-19, I had to launch it online. For 3 years, I was just, I got to do it. But I never actually did it.
Yeah.
And so, when you get into different and desperate times, you have to do things differently. So I did launch this coaching program. I turned into an online course. I launched it 4 weeks ago, which is wonderful. There's 6 women in the group that I work with once a week. So this will be ending beginning of July. Then I'll be relaunching it again middle of July. So if anyone is interested in joining, it's a wonderful 12-week program. It's called Design Your Best Life, 12 weeks to go from stressed to blessed.
I love it. Now, when we do come out the other side of this whole thing, is this going to move to in-person coaching or will it stay as an online thing?
This will stay as an online thing. Okay. That was my goal even from before.
Right. Just
so that I can reach more people globally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, sorry, go ahead. Finish.
I was just going to say, then I continue one-on-ones, either virtually or in person.
Okay. So was this whole pandemic and lockdown, this was the pivotal point that just pushed you to actually finally put this out there to the world?
This course, absolutely. Yeah. Because I had to.
See, there is silver lining in this stuff. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thank goodness I look forward to this course, this group, because I feel like I can still do my work and what I love.
So it's been quite receptive up to this point?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that. That's great.
Thank you.
Could you share a situation that's occurred in your life that would provide insight as to your character, who Martha is?
I'd say having to go through IVF with my second daughter.
Okay.
About 6 years ago. Even longer. About 9 years ago, my husband and I wanted to have a second child.
Right.
And we're trying for years and it wasn't happening. And when we went for all of the testing and everything, basically we were told that we had secondary infertility, which was such a shock because with my first daughter, she was conceived right away, no issues.
Yeah.
So to hear that you have secondary infertility, it was just like, where did this come from? And then they did more testing and we got to the bottom of it. And I remember the doctor saying to us, well, the only way you're going to have a second child is if you go through IVF. And I was like, I don't want to go through IVF. I didn't have to go through IVF with my first.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to put my body through that.
Yeah.
I was really, against it. And so maybe 2 years went by, and we had been trying other methods, techniques that did not work.
Mm-hmm.
And then one time I was speaking with a girlfriend of mine, and you have those conversations that could be life-changing.
Yeah, light bulb moments.
This was one of them, and she just said to me, look, if you really want a second child, what are you waiting for? And I said, yeah, you're right. And I realized as much as I didn't want to, I was in fear. I was in fear of what this process would do, the stress of it. And I thought, well, if this is what I really want, I've got to up-level my courage and face my fears and do it. And I did. And luckily it worked after the first round, and it wasn't at all as bad or as stressful as I anticipated.
Yeah.
But I guess what I learned about myself is no matter how scary or frightening something might be, if I have to do it, I'll do it anyway, because I need to do it for myself, and I'll do it in spite of the fear. So growing that courage in spite of the fear. It doesn't mean you don't have the fear, but you do it anyway.
Stepping outside of your comfort zone.
For sure.
What would you say is the best advice you've ever received?
My mom, when I was younger, would tell me, do what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. So that was good advice. And although I didn't understand it that well back then, looking back on it now, I could see where she was coming from. And secondly, from a few coaches over the years, to trust my own heart, to trust the direction of my heart, knows the way for my life, knows the way that's for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
I define success as going to bed at night and feeling good about my life, feeling good about my day. And even if I messed up, even if I, maybe yelled at my kids when I wasn't proud of that, knowing that I can self-reflect and try to do better the next day. And just go to bed knowing that I tried my best that day to show up as my best self, to help not only myself, but my kids and the women that I work with. And that to me is success.
Awesome. I love that. What would you say is the biggest pain point that you've been dealing with in your business these days?
Just lower numbers, just lower people reaching out.
Yeah.
I guess financial constraints. And I can understand that.
Yeah.
Because financial hardships, something like life coaching, that goes on the back burner for a lot of people because they have to pay bills.
Yeah. Well, hopefully when we come out the other side of this, the economy picks up and people get back into return to some normalcy, I guess. I mean, that would be nice.
I hope so. It's gonna be different, which I feel it should be. I feel like we need to have learned something from this and evolve into better human beings.
Yeah, that's the hope. I mean, with all that's gone on and all the bad in this, there has been good, as you have noted, with launching your course, and it kind of gave you that light bulb moment or gave you that push to do that, and just being able to have time to do things now that everyone complains that they don't have time to do, or, I want to spend more time with my family, but I don't have time because I'm always working. So hopefully people have been taking advantage of that and will continue to do so when we come out the other side and realize the importance of certain things. Hopefully it caused an awakening in people, this whole thing.
That's my wish and dream as well, that we do come out more awakened as individuals and as a society and globally. Yeah. We were really damaging our planet and each other.
Yeah, we were, I mean, everyone's in such a rush all the time. And I think I've personally noticed that people are being a little more kind to one another when I've been out and I've seen it. So I hope I can only hope that continues and we don't fall back into the same patterns when we do come out the other side of this whole thing.
I think if we want to become better and not bitter, that's another one of my favorite quotes, although I don't know who said it. If we can choose to become better and not bitter because of this experience. And that's with all of life's hardships. We always have a choice to let it make us into better people, wiser people, more evolved people. And I hope that for the majority of us that we can choose to allow this experience to help us become better people.
Well, I mean, that's the responsibility of the individual, right? As long as you practice these things in your life, hopefully other people will do the same, and it will create this domino effect, and it will happen that way, I hope.
Yes.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
It would be, the minute you feel a red flag about somebody, get the hell out.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut. Trust your gut, whether it's about a guy or even about a girl, about a friendship, a platonic friendship. If there's something that doesn't feel right for you, you don't need to wait for the evidence or the justification before you get out. Just finish, done, goodbye, leave.
Just do it.
Yeah, because it's much harder in the long run to leave a bad relationship or even end a bad friendship.
Absolutely. If you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
It would sound something like this. You are here for a reason. The chances of you being alive at this time and space on planet Earth right now are slim to none. So the fact that you're alive means that your life matters. You matter. You're here for a reason. Find out what that reason is, what lights you up, what your purpose is, what your passions are, and go do that, because the world needs people who are lit up, who have passion, and live their lives authentically, being who they're meant to be.
I love that. Very inspirational. I love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today, Martha. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for sharing your insights and a little slice into your world and what you do. I think it's incredibly admirable that you started out helping young girls, and you've carried that through to helping women. And you still help girls, but you've carried that through to help women as well. So thank you so much for doing everything you do. It's been amazing chatting with you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure chatting with you too, Brad.
Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. My guest today was Martha Eleftheriou. She is a life coach, Reiki master, and yoga teacher. Thanks again, Martha. I hope you have a wonderful day today.
Thanks, Brad. You as well.